Boom. Okay, and let me share my screen. There we go. So that's where we stopped last time. And
Yep.
so I want to go over some other aspects of testing now. We fiddled a little bit with BDD, behavior-driven development.
Nice.
The point of that is to sort of turn your requirement lists into tests. And the idea of BDD was created by Dan North. And he thought that TDD was confusing because of the word test. Really, if you think about it, TDD isn't as much about testing as it is about designing and taking small steps and making sure that you're refactoring towards a proper design. And so Dan's suggestion was, okay, let's think about behavior instead, and that will change how you approach your TDD. So you write your acceptance tests as something that your manager can understand, and then they will, or the end user can understand, and they will be able to verify that that is a valid assumption, and then your test will test something that's expected and understood by the customer, which is really cool. So instead of the oh gosh, what was our thing for TDD? Here we go. You got your arrange, act, and assert.
Mm-hmm.
In BDD, we have given, when, then. Given we have this precondition, when
Mm-hmm.
we make this change, then this is what I expect. Okay. Since you've fiddled with Cucumber in the past, I'm sure that all looks very familiar to you.
Mm-hmm.
So now let's sort of look at TDD from a slightly different angle. Probably what you'll do most of the time when you're doing your daily work is maintenance on an existing system. So how do you use TDD when you're doing maintenance? Well, when you've got your regular TDD
Mm-hmm.
cycle, we write
Mm-hmm.
a failing test, write just enough code to make the test pass, we refactor it, and we go through this cycle. So when you're doing maintenance, we will start with a passing test. So we know what the program does now, and then we change the test so that it fails in such a way that it gets the result that we really want it to have instead of the result that it does have. And then we write enough code to make that test pass and refactor that. So there's this extra step of writing the passing test first. So basically, we verify that it does what it already does, and then when we write the failing test, that makes sure that we can always fall back to a working state, which is really important when you're maintaining code. So let's practice that.
Awesome.
What I have, I don't know, have you ever heard of the Gilded Rose Kata?
Nope.
No. Okay. So here's the deal. Emily Batch has this Gilded Rose Kata that she basically got it from somebody else and ran with it. And she and others have rewritten this, extended it to all the different languages you can possibly imagine. And what it is basically a piece of ugly code that we are given a specification for. And see, as if it's, I guess it's right here, the Gilded Rose requirements, right here. So we have a specification, and effectively, this is a store, the Gilded Rose, and it's sort of takes place in the World of Warcraft world, and so they have different products that they have, and they have an expiration date, so they have to sell in within some period of time, and they have quality which degrades or improves depending on what it is you're selling. And so what we need to do is add a new conjured item. Okay. So, excuse me. So basically, one of the important requirements is feel free to make any changes to the update quality method. Add any new code as long as everything still works correctly. Do not alter the item class or item's property. Those belong to the goblin in the corner who will insta-rage and one-shot you, as he doesn't believe in shared code ownership. Make the update quality method and items properly static, if you like, but we'll cover for you. Okay, so we will look at what we have here, the Gilded Rose Kata. So what we have here, let's look at our Gilded Rose. This is our code. It's not long, 60 lines, which is okay, but you can just quickly glance at it and see that it's kind of a tangled mess.
Mm-hmm.
The item object is pretty simple. It's got name, sell-in quality, and a toString that prints it all out. I don't know what this program is. Main. Okay, so this sort of exercises the program. Yeah, we won't be using that. Now we do have tests. So, yeah, I introduced you to approval tests last time, did I not? No, I did
Yeah.
not.
No.
No.
We did some TDD, basic TDD, just
Okay. Then that might be too big of a jump. Let's
no, let's try it.
well, okay. So there is an open source library that I use that I also contribute to, and it's called approval tests. And so here we're using
Awesome.
Gradle to do this. What we'll do is let's go ahead and kick this off. So what happens is that it will, what it does is instead of having the assert, act, and no, arrange, act, assert, we basically do your arrange and then say approvals.verify. So you create some string output and then you tell it to verify it. So for instance, in this foo functions, it goes and creates a new item and it creates a Gilded Rose, passes the item in, tells it to update the quality, and then we say verify all. So the magic of approval tests is that it will automatically open up your diff tool and show you what's different between what you had before and what you have now. So it will create a received.txt file. And if that's what it's supposed to look like, then you put that in your approved.txt file and you say, okay, that is correct. So And she has another one here called 30 days, which will see here. Has byte array output stream, fake output, get bytes. And so she just does all this stuff. I don't know what that is, but my guess is that this does a complete test of the application. And just to be sure of that, what I'm going to do is I'm going to run this test with coverage. It does code coverage. You know what I mean by that? So yeah, we've got 100% code coverage. So basically, you've got green everywhere. So that test runs everything.
Okay, code coverage means all the code that has tests.
Yes.
Okay.
So the code is completely tested. All right. So rather than spend a bunch of time learning about how this approval test thing works, I'd like to go ahead and start working on the refactoring and using test-driven development to add our new, well, see, we've already got the test for the conjured item in there. So here, so if we go ahead and put that in and we save it, then when we run our test next, I'm not going to use this one. So now when I run the test, yeah, so it's all green. So we don't have any errors. That's a good thing. All right, so let's look at this code. What we need to do is add a conjured item. And when I look at this test, fake output equals new byte, print stream byte, get bytes. So where does it get the fake output? Oh, program. Ah, that's that. That's this thing here. Program. We have this. So the conjured item doesn't work properly yet. So we need to make the conjured item work properly.
Okay.
So what
Scott,
yeah.
Can I ask you
Sure.
I need to go to the bathroom. I will
No
go
problem.
really quickly, okay?
Okay, no problem.
Okay.
I will pause.
Yeah, just for a few minutes. Go.
Okay, so what I want to do is I want to go ahead and comment out the conjured item. And why is I'm defining it here? So anyhow, can I not comment that out? That's really weird. Oh, I see. Because of this.
Okay.
There we go, much better. I'm going to leave conjured item out, right? And then I go back to my tests and I run them. And you'll see that conjured is in there. But it's a bunch of random numbers. It's all wrong. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to copy all that over. I'm going to save the changes. I'm not going to worry about conjured right now. All right. Make sure our tests run. We're all green. Life is good. So let's go look at the Gilded Rose code here. So the first thing that I notice here is this items. sub I is everywhere. Let's just first make this a little easier to read by saying that is a item equals item sub I. Okay. Actually, let's do that. Let's do this using the refactoring tools built in. Oops. So if I go here, say items sub I, and I say Control Alt V, replace all 34 occurrences like that automatically. So now it just says item. Okay, so now it's a little easier to work with. Anyway, we're not having to pass this index around every time. So next, it looks like we've got all these things. You know, you got aged brie, backstage pass, sulfurous, hand of Ragnaros in there a bunch of times. Why don't we see if we can break out the everything that has to do with each individual string, and
Okay.
it's just the way we have it here. It looks like that might be helpful. You know, another way that you can refactor is sort of look at the innermost if statements and turn those into subroutines, like the quality is less than 50, increment quality by 1, always less than 50, increment quality by 1. That might be a good thing to turn into a method.
Mm-hmm.
So what am I doing? I'm not using the editor that I usually use, so I'm a little confused. So I can say refactor, extract a method. We can call this, instead of extracted, we'll call it increase quality. How's that sound?
Nice.
Yeah, we'll replace all of them. There we go. So we've just gotten rid of some duplicated code, which is nice.
Mm-hmm.
All right. And then you got your selling greater than 11, selling greater than 6. That's not duplicated. This item name equals backstage pass. There's lots of this item name equals. So here's a technique that I learned that I think is pretty cool. So you say, if true, then you do this, else you'll do that. And so what I'll do is I'll say, okay, we'll take all this code, so right, goes down this line to here, right. Take all that out and I'll stick it here, and I'll stick it here. Okay, so now I've got, if it's true, then we're going to do all this stuff. And if it's false, we're going to do all this stuff. So I haven't changed any functionality, right? I've just sort of cluttered everything up, which is kind of stupid. But if I change that true to be, if item name equals aged brie, now I've sort of changed the logic some.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, it should still work because it was true
Mm-hmm.
at some point. I mean, here, HBRE is not true, so it's not going to work there. And it is true here. So if I go and I run my test, it should still pass. So everything still passes. So what I'll do is I'll just run the test with coverage, and I can go through here and I can say, okay, look, we've got this here. So this is true. This is never called because item name does not equal aged brie. So this would be false, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, and if false and anything means false, so this will never run. So we can just delete all that code. And then this is red. So, so if item name is aged brie, then it will never be this. So we can make this false as well. I hate it when I do that. Um, so this will never run.
Yeah.
Okay. And then we go here. This is item name is not aged brie. Well, it is aged brie. So this is false. If that's false, then you can see why that's red. It will never run.
Mm-hmm.
So we can delete all of that. And why is this else without if? Did I? Oh, you need to do that. And you need to do that. There we
Mm-hmm.
go. And then, okay, so now we come down here. We say, we see some red here, else. So this is if item name doesn't equal aged brie. So this is in the else part, right? That equals aged brie. So here it is equal. Item name is not equal to aged brie. So this is true.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So if true, and so that still needs to be to stay together. And down here, item name is not equal to aged brie. So this is true, right? So true. The else is never going to run. So, so we get rid of all the red. Now I can go through and basically let IntelliJ clean this up for me. If false, I'll do an Alt Enter, and it will say empty body. So just invert it. Boom. So here's another if false. Move the if statement. If true, unwrap the if statement. There you go. If it's true, it's always going to run. Okay. What does it say here? Condition. Boom, boom. That's always true. Item name is. Item name is not. So if it's H brie, okay, so this is always false, right?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, this is always true. So, all right, so we'll just change that to true. Boom. If false, well, let's clean that up, remove it, right? So if true, and let's clean that up, simplify it. So here, this is always true. There we go. What is this? Misspelled, all right? True. Let's, all right, so we've got this all cleaned up. So here, so if it's aged brie, this is what we have, which is nice. So now what we'd have is backstage passes and sulfurous. Well, let's go and do the same thing here. Right? So if true, else, and then we'll take all of this. There. All of that. Stick it here. And stick it here. Okay. And now we'll make sure our tests continue to run. Still green. And I ran the, yeah, so that's true. So what I'll do is I'll change this here. Item name is blah, blah, blah. Copy that. And then I'll run this again. Still green. And here's some red. So item name is not, so this is a false. And so that will never run. Take it out. Item name, it may be that. Item name does not, so that's going to always be false. So get rid of that. Here, this is going to always be true. And then here, item name here. So this is going to always be true. So if true, well, then this is going to be false. So that's never going to run. We can delete all that. True, well, that's never going to run. We can delete all that. Now we go through and clean up our if statements. False, alt, enter. Remove the if, boom. If false, true. Now it seems like I'm being kind of silly about this, writing everything out, but that keeps me from making dumb mistakes, thinking that I know what I'm doing, and then I start doing things the wrong way. So if item name is this, then item name will not be that. Well, of course, because it's this. Item name equals, and name will not be this. So that's true, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then go ahead and unwrap that. Okay, good. So if it's a backstage pass, then we've got all this here. So we got this, this, this. So it goes through this little rigmarole. All right. So now let's do this one more time for the sulfurous. Right? So we go if true, else, and then we'll just take all of this that's left. And we'll stick it in here, and we'll stick it in here. Okay, make sure our tests still work. Everybody passes. We'll run our code coverage. It's all green. That's all nothing. Okay. Oh, because it's if true, we want to change that to be item name is sulfurous and end of Ragnarok's. Okay, so now let's try it again. So this is red, so this will be false. That will never be run. This will be false. That will never be run. Oh, and here, this will be false. And that will never be run. Okay. Let's spell false right. This will be true. This will be true. And this will be true. Okay, so let's go clean up our logic. That will never be run. Well, that's empty. Who cares?
Okay.
This one, that will never be run. This will never be run. That's empty. That's empty. Who cares? So if item name equals sulfurous hand of Ragnaros, we do nothing. That's an interesting thing to notice. So otherwise, we're going to do all this other stuff. So this is sort of our default. Okay, so now we see we've got A's Brie, we do all this, backstage pass, we do all that, sulfurous, we do that, and by default, we're going to do this. So now we go back and look at our specification. That's not the one I want. Where did it go? Here it is. So conjured items degrading quality twice as fast as normal times. Okay. So let's come back here. So whereas before we had no idea where we would add conjured, now I know all I need to do is say here, if item dot name with an N, name dot equals conjured. What am I doing wrong here? I need to go back here to my program, and I need to turn the conjured back on. So now I'll run my test. And so we got all this sort of stuff happening. Well, this is what it would do by default, but that's not what we do for conjured. So what I will do is I'll say, I'll go ahead and add that. But what I want it to do is if I want it to decrease in quality over 30 days. So right now, we look at the 30 days approved. We can see that the conjured is 3 and 6, and quality is the third one, 2 and 5. So it needs to decrease in quality twice as fast. So this should be a 4, right? And then that should be a 2. That should be a 0. And at that point, I think it can't go below 0, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so this is what we're really expecting. Okay, so, and what I will do is I will take that and I will say that will be my approved, because that's what I'm wanting to see. File, save. All right, and now I'll go back to my Gilded Rose and I will add my conjured. Premium equals conjured. Then it will be just like this. That the quality will decrease by 2 instead of 1. I'm doing that right? That's all in conjugate here. Boom, boom, boom. So I don't need it there. That's outside. So here. So it's greater than 0. Then if true, well, wait a second. That's what is it saying here? Statement has an empty body. Right. Up here, if true, then that's always going to happen. True, that's always going to happen. We forgot to clean that up. That's always going to happen. There we go. So if it's conjured, then the quality is going to be 0, then we'll decrease by 2. So then we're going to decrease quality by 2. Okay. So let's see. So that's what we expect to happen. That's what we told conjured to do. And so we'll now run our test. Uh-oh. So 5, 6. So we got 5, 4, 3, and 1. Conjured manna cake. Oh, well, that's the problem. How about instead of saying equals, we say name dot starts with. Here we go. But we use this one here. Starts with conjured. Okay, let's try that. 3, 6. Why'd that go to 1, 3? That one shouldn't change. Well, that's weird. What'd we do wrong? So quality is greater than 0. Quality item minus 2. Right, and then if selling, we decrease selling. And then if selling is less than 0, then quality is greater than 0. Oh, okay. And we won't do that. We'll leave that the way it was. Let's try that.
Yeah, because selling once is negative, quality degrades twice as fast, right?
Right. So 3, 6 and 2, 4. That goes to 1, 3. Well, that's bad. So by default, quality is greater than 0, it's going to decrease by 1.
Uh-huh.
So L is less than 0. Then if quality is greater than 0, it's going to decrease by another 1. Here, quality is greater than 0. Then we're going to decrease by 2. And we're going to decrease selling. Selling is less than. So why is
Uh,
selling being
no,
decreased?
but online.
Oh,
Okay. Yes.
because
Yes.
you silly
Uh-huh.
person, you have to say else. Because if it's conjured, we do this. Otherwise, we do that. So
Okay.
there we go. And then so we'll always decrease quality twice as fast. And I think this should
Yeah,
work.
that is correct.
And we're green. So the test passed.
Awesome.
So this is how we use TDD
Uh-huh.
to do our maintenance.
On
That
legacy
was,
code. Yes.
I'm sorry,
On legacy code.
I didn't understand you. I'm sorry. It's,
Ah, okay. When you have legacy code.
oh yes.
Okay.
Yeah, we're in a legacy system. So yeah, so we can go through and probably clean this up some more. We want to, maybe take this and put a quality factor in or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
But this looks good. This looks like a reasonable approach. We got it working, and we
Mm-hmm.
cleaned it up so that future will work fine. We could like put this into a switch statement to make it read a little easier, but
Mm-hmm.
otherwise it seems to work fine. So that's kind of where we are for now.
Yes,
Um,
awesome.
and frankly, I'm 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 gonna have to stop it there, and I will stop sharing my screen. But yeah, I'm gonna have to stop it there because I've got to run. But I hope you found that helpful and useful. Um, and what we can do next time is maybe we can open that up. I can I can send you the the URL to this
Yeah,
kata.
please. Because I really want to go deep on this. And also I will share the course I told you.
Right.
Okay. I will do that later because my mouse got broken last night. I
Oh,
just cannot make it work. My yeah, it's kind of
I will
I need to
share
buy a
this
new
on the
mouse.
Discord.
Eh?
I'm going to share this on the Discord. Um, um,
Okay, let me
that
share my.
it won't go away when the meeting is over. All right.
Okay, awesome. Yes.
And
I will I will share later the after I buy the new mouse because it just doesn't work. I don't know why. I will share I have the course here. Let me show
okay.
you. And it's awesome. Mm, it's React testing library.
Yes. Okay.
And
There you
there's
go.
a
A little
goat.
goat. Yes. That I've tried to work through that one. So, but what I would suggest, since you know JavaScript, you can work through the JavaScript version of this kata.
I will do the Java. It's interesting that how a challenge for me is doing these little katas, and I my brain is like, oh, okay, this is making sense. But I will also do the JavaScript, and I will apply this because, in fact, this week I had a similar. I I jumped into a piece of code in my work that has too many ifs, too many ifs. So
Okay,
I will try to apply this concept in this code,
okay,
and let's see if I can refactor it.
very good.
Yes,
All righty then. Well,
precisely.
yeah, and I will also, I think there's an article I will send you for how to handle too many if statements and
Yes.
how you can refactor that.
Yeah, yeah, and I was thinking of the meme of artificial intelligence. You
Hmm.
know, the one that is like uncovering is first there is two guys and there is one with a mask and says artificial intelligence,
Right,
and the other one took the cover and it's on if nested ifs, a lot of nested
right,
ifs.
right. And that's what an expert system is, right?
Yeah, that's funny. Okay, Scott is great. Yeah, sorry about last week, but
Not a
I'm
problem.
ready to go. Oh yeah,
Not a problem. All right. Well, you have a great day, and we
yeah.
will
Thank you very much, and for
see you again
you
next
as
week.
well, a very good day.
Thank you. All right. Bye.
Okay, bye.